So you can find the link to my Wakelet page dalam Elip. Okay, rupa dia macam ni. You just go to Elip, buka the subject page, and within there there's a link. You just click and it will open. So I will cover the foundation, on accident. So when I say accident, the context will be the workplace accident, not the accident that happened in your home, and not the accident that happened while you are having your personal activities or going on vacation and on the road. Those are personally related to personal activities, but the context here is while you are working, wherever you are, not necessarily dalam inside offices, inside factories, or at the site, construction site. It's basically wherever you are, if at that point of time you are working. So the keyword here is working. So the past week, I have you have been engaged with two topics. Number one is OSH emergence, which basically the history of safety lah. So by now you already know that in Malaysia, safety has been for a while, almost over 100 years. But maybe to some of you, hey, I just learned it yesterday or last week. So it's been going on for hundreds of years, because one of the contributing factors is it's not part of your formal education curriculum. You never learn about workplace safety in your school, the primary school, secondary school, and it's not covered extensively within the university curriculum also. Maybe on certain program only lah, maybe engineering or related to HR. But most people in Malaysia do not know about OSH, except for those who works in the high risk industry. So I don't want to repeat the whole history of safety. You already know, already done the quiz. And one of the most interesting topic for last week would be the framework. What are the agencies involved? What are the laws involved? What are some of the organization that is active within this field? Because maybe if you are interested to pursue the career in OSH, those are the things that you need to know, because the law is already being enforced since 1994. Not sure whether you are already born during that time, but it's already there for quite a long time, and it covers most of the industry. And within these few years, there will be a new law, with regards to workplace safety that will be enforced, that will cover almost all of the industry in Malaysia, and it will be comprehensive. So occupational safety and health is a field within human resource management that is ever expanding and getting more recognition. People now realize that they have a future in OSH. So there are a lot of trends whereby people from other fields like IT or from accounting or from sales and other fields that have jumped ship into the OSH field because they see a future in the career. And I know one or two of my students who are actually currently taking into a different career, although they are from HRD, but they are currently doing safety in organization. So In a nutshell, OSH is a career that have a future, okay, and will be expanding lah, as Malaysia getting more and more developed, especially in Sarawak. Sarawak has seen tremendous development over these past 5 years. So there will be more demand for people within the OSH field. And I would like to remind that, for the subject, it will require you to revisit your whatever learning that you have done in the past during your primary or secondary school, because in the OSH field, there's a lot of multi-discipline, and it is a multidisciplinary field, it is transdisciplinary field. You will learn about machine that involves a bit of engineering knowledge. You will learn about medical terms in a bit more like a junior doctor. You will learn about chemicals. Those are the things that you learn during your school time. Chemistry, biology, and physics will have importance. You will learn about management, of course. You will learn about law. You will learn about many things, even psychology. Because people in the OSH field wears many hats. Must be knowledgeable in a lot of things. Some of you from HRD field also can be applied within safety, because a lot of training being done in the safety field. I am at the same time is a safety trainer. Maybe that's why I go into our faculty of SKPM, because for the past 20 years I was actively involved in training and development. Even if you are in the psychology field, also psychology field contributed a lot to safety, because some of the authors or people who studies about risky behavior, why people do stupid things or risky or unsafe things while they work, is something within the domain of psychology, because in safety we don't deal with things, we deal a lot with people. So HRD and psychology is in the right track to understand or to implement safety, because HRD and psychology is all about dealing with with people. So whenever you work, there will be a chance, a likelihood that you might be involved in an accident, because in some industry, the risk will be high, whereby the activities involve a lot of dangerous activities, such as construction, manufacturing, oil and gas, and a lot more. Even if you don't work in a risky industry, even if you work in a financial institution, banks, or schools, or university, there will always be risks involved. So this knowledge is something that is very important, because this is your last phase before going into the workplace. So when you go into the workplace, you will become an officer. In which department, I'm not sure. Most probably in HR, or maybe serving people in some special way. And you are in a position to influence. You are in a position to influence people to work safely, because you can make decision. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people will listen to you, because you are the management level. And my intent is that for all of you to have basic knowledge of safety, so that you can contribute in reducing accident in the workplace, so that you can give advice to your staff, the people within your organization, and guide them, and to review some of the SOP or system that is risky, or not following the safety rules or whatnot. So that's why that this subject is very important. Okay, I don't intend to run. Okay, can you see the screen? I'm talking alone right now, so I'm not sure. Can you see the screen? Okay. But this video is very important because it demonstrates what can happen at work. Although it is a sketch, it's funny. Yeah, when I look at it, because I am a safety guy, in my point of view, that's not funny because for all the accident, the injury that happened to all of these characters in the video, it's very painful. Losing your eye, losing your fingers, losing your hand, even object dropping on your head. It's all very, very painful. So it happens to you, it will not be funny. It happens to somebody that your friend, your family, your colleagues, your loved ones. It's not funny anymore. But those are the things that can happen. This is just a small workshop. Just imagine if you're working in a construction site, that is a large construction site, a factory that involves a lot of big machines. Even if you're working in the logging industry or working in the fishing industry, it's all very dangerous. They are risking their lives every day because fishery involves work over water. You can fall down and be drowned and can cause fatality. You will die drowning. In logging, you can be dihempap pokok, you can die. So this video explains, at least give you some idea what can happen in a workplace, right? So what is accident? Okay, this is important. And accident by definition in the context of safety is that it is an event, peristiwa, kejadian. Usually the event is very short, okay, happens for a split second and very sudden, okay. It's not a slow motion event, and it's unexpected, because you never know what happens. Suddenly it happens. Events that results in unwanted and undesirable outcome. So the keyword here is that it is an event, and when that event happens, it causes something that you don't want. It might be injury, it might be death, it might be damage to the assets, anything that is unwanted. But importantly, okay, if the event is not caused by human activity, for example, flood or earthquake or volcano eruption, letusan gunung berapi, it is not considered as workplace accident, because that is beyond human control. Another key important factor is that it must be short. If the event happen over a period of time, for example, disease developing in your body, or you are exposed to dangerous chemical after 10 or 20 years, that is also not considered as accident. Okay, accident. There are also another very important terms, which is near miss, or some people coin it or call it as near hit. Very rare people call it near hit. A lot of people call it near miss, or in Malay, kejadian nyaris. So the definition is almost the same like accident, there's only one difference, is that the event happened, but it does not cause unwanted outcome, but it has the potential, or very nearly it has the potential. CP-CP, nyaris-nyaris. So those are near misses. So there's a video there to demonstrate what is a near miss. So a near miss event is just as important as accident. These are the things that we try to avoid. Okay. In OSH, we believe that most of the accident is preventable. Kita boleh elakkan kejadian-kejadian ini. There's no such thing as, malang tidak berbau. Actually, if you study a lot of the accident that happen in the industry, they all berbau. Ada banyak bau dia, cuma kita tak perasan bau tu bau apa. So there's a lot of indication or signs, but we just ignore it. Near misses is one of the sign. I believe a lot of you have been involved in, you are now 20 over years of your age. I believe a lot of you have been involved in some sort of near misses. Maybe some of you even involved in an actual accident lah. Maybe it's not related to occupation, but maybe during play, not related to sports, because sports is not within the scope. But something when you do an activity, but something happened and causes you injury. So as I said, we cannot achieve zero accident, because even if you cut onion, potong bawang, then and the knife accidentally cut your thumb, so causes a little bit of bleeding, that is accident by definition. Nobody wants to have a cut. It's quite painful, even a small cut. So that happens. That happens a lot. So we don't intend, in safety, we don't intend to have zero accident, because it's impossible to have zero accident. Our focus is mainly to prevent severe accident, major accident, the accident that can cause death, or mass destruction, that causes a lot of damages, that causes people to lose part of their body. You lose your eyesight, lose your hearing, lose your fingers, your hand, your legs. Those are the things that we try to avoid. And if it just happens that there's an accident occur to you and you have a small cut or maybe just bruises, well, we'll take note of that. But it's something that we do not focus every day lah. So if you have some experience in accidents, you can share in the chat lah. Maybe we can discuss that later. Okay, now you already know about accident and also near misses. So after today, try to be more sensitive about what happened around you. If you going to the shop using your motorcycle or using car, be more sensitive about what happens around you, and you will find a lot of near misses. You will find a lot of accident. Even on the road, there are a lot of near misses. People braking suddenly, that's near misses, but it doesn't cause collision. But people braking suddenly, people drive super fast on the road, people not wearing seat belts, people breaking the traffic light or cornering without giving signals. All of those are near misses. It can lead to accident, but it doesn't, but it can. It has the potential. So try to train yourself to spot this event, because it's around us. Even at home also, you can watch people, how your mother cook at the kitchen, how your siblings, brothers and sisters, doing activities, how your father carry heavy loads. Maybe they carrying uh, 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 rice, a packet of rice of 10 kilo. That is quite heavy. How they carry it. It happens around us. It's just that we are not sensitive to it. Well, except for the people in the safety field. And there are also other terms that is important too, in this field. These are things that, according to the law, you need to report to DOSH, Department of Occupational Safety and Health. One of it is workplace accident. You have to report if the people who are involved in that incident, cannot come to work for more than 4 days. For more than 4 days, so you have to report. Also includes occupational poisoning. This is something that people rarely pay attention to because this is a disease. It happens throughout a long period of time. And sometimes when it happens to you, you just brush it off as something that is normal. But in the course of your work, there will be times that might be you are working with chemicals or working with dangerous substances, and because you are exposed to it, as a result to the exposure, over a period of time, you get diseases. So one of the most popular disease is the silica exposure that you can watch the video there. You will get silicosis. It's a form of cancer for within your lung. It's a form of cancer where you can get it because of exposure to a lot of dust. Dust, not the house dust. It's a dust from rocks. And this is something important also. Sometimes your family members, might get some kind of disease. They cough a lot, and you know that your father or your uncle, working in a very dangerous industry such as mines or quarry, when they come back home, they demonstrate or they shows or display condition, keadaan yang teruk, macam a lot of coughing, not feeling very well. So you need to pay more attention that your father or your uncle or someone in your family might be getting occupational disease, or they are using a lot of chemicals, and they are getting unhealthy, because of that. And if you ask them, of course, they will say that that's fine. It just comes with age and everything. But don't take it literally lah. What they say, just with a pinch of salt, saying that okay, you just need you have to persuade them, to go check to the specialist doctor lah. Because we need to identify if this disease has already set in. So the earlier the better. You are still young, maybe you are healthy, but your uncle, your father, might be getting this kind of disease without you knowing it. And after that, you just say that it's just fate, takdir saja. Well, what to do, because he is old, whatever. So from this point, you cannot say that until it is proven by doctors. So why is it important? These are something that you can read. And one thing that I don't want you to do is that if it happens that you start a business, and because you want a very high profit, and you start using your workers without thinking about their safety. So whatever work that you get the contract, and you don't care whether it's safe or not, you just, and because you pay your worker salary, and you expect them to do everything that you ask them to do, even if the work is basically dangerous to them, and they might get injured, or taking risks of doing it. Because in our society, in our culture, especially lah in Sarawakian lah, mostly from the Iban ethnic, they are usually will do whatever they are required to do. Whenever the boss asks them to do, they will do it, whether it's dangerous or not, because they want to impress the boss, or they want to show their capability. So, and because of that, you take advantage. So that is not a good attitude lah for me, because it can be a blood money lah. Meaning to say, whatever the money that you get is because of the sacrifice of the workers, their health, their physical being, doing the work that you want them to do. And it's no difference from people who take in forced labour, ataupun hamba lah yang dekat Afrika Selatan sana tu, untuk bekerja dekat lumbung diamond. And there's no difference, because this forced labour is paid, but not as high as it should lah. But they are worked to death, and even because maybe from that point of view, you see that as something that, wow, you cannot do this, but actually you are doing it in in our country. You just don't want to see it, you refuse to see it, or you don't bother to think about it. So it's just morally wrong to force people to do risky jobs because of the contract that you have, or you want more money from your business. So I like to quote this verse from Quran for those who are Muslim. Okay, whoever saves a life, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. So I see the OSH carrier, or OSH professional, or OSH safety people. They save life, but different from doctors. Doctors, they heal. People get injured, people get disease, the doctors heal. But people in safety, they prevent. So they do the background job. They do whatever they must so that people are prevented from having accident, injury, or disease at all. So they don't have to go to the doctors. So the doctors are the front line, but the safety people is the back line. So the doctors gets all the credits for sure, but the safety people, they don't get the credits, because we are at the backstage. We do all the work to make sure that all the work is safe. So in part, it is part of the process of saving a life. So it is something that is highly valuable to God's eye. Sangat tinggi martabatnya pada pandangan mata Allah. Okay, there are also social reasons. Okay, there are also social reasons. There are also financial reasons. Financial reasons I will discuss, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ahead later. Social reasons, of course, people now are more aware of safety, and they can be, they can sue a company if their family members got injured at work, Not like 50 years ago that, they just accept the fate, terima saja takdir. But today's society, they are more aware of their rights, of the law. So the company cannot just simply do what they please for the workers, because if they are injured, people can sue you. People now have more engagement towards the activity of organization of company. So whenever a company wants to start an operation that is considered as dangerous, people within the community or society will start to talk about it, maybe organize some sort of, picket ke ataupun demonstrasi ke, saying, okay, no to this establishment. Not, it's very much unlike 50 or 60 years ago. And also, nowadays, a lot of people carry a lot of responsibility, They might be people who excel or someone that is respected in the community. So when they are injured or they die at work, okay, the community will lose somebody that is valuable to them. Okay, so there's a big impact to the society actually. Okay, the cause of industrial disaster, this one is related to the financial reasons. One of the biggest reasons why we need to have safety at the workplace is because of the amount of cost that you have to bear whenever an accident happens. And that one I will talk about, and we will have a workshop on it in the coming weeks. I will not talk about it today. Today will be just an introduction. And I strongly urge every one of you to, read some of these articles because they are good articles. They're talking about the cause of these industrial disasters, and some of these industrial disasters are very popular, very famous around the world. And as a student of FOSH, it would be good that you remember whenever you read somewhere in the internet, they are talking about Bhopal. Oh, you know about Bhopal. You're talking about Chernobyl. Yes, I know about Chernobyl. What happened at Chernobyl? What happened at Bhopal? What happened at Piper Alpha? Yeah, that is very important. Okay. Safety is not a cost. Safety is an investment. So for many industry leaders, young, have been around for so long, they know, especially from the developed country, the Americans, the British, the Europeans, to them, safety is an investment for the future. For people in this region, Southeast Asia, maybe in Malaysia, we still see it as a cost. You have to spend a lot for training, for, improvements, and everything, because they have this mentality of looking at safety as something that's burden or a cost. But actually it's wrong. So if you put into safety, it is basically an investment to safeguard the future, even making your business more profitable. Okay. All right. Now, most of the time when we look at accident, we don't care to think what really happens. Yeah. And if it's funny, we laugh. If it's funny, we laugh. There's a lot of, clips of, people getting into accidents in Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. Some went viral to become like, a challenge or anything. So a lot of people look at it as funny. And we just look at accident that happens and you said, oh, sorry, that happened, minta maaf lah, itu berlaku, mungkin nasib tak baik. You just say like that lah, nasib tak baik lah, kasihan lah. Semoga cepat sembuh, setakat itu sajalah. But actually we can learn a lot from accident if you think about what really happened. But it's just that we do not want to think about it. There's a lot of accident happening around us, and we just look at it with a little bit of curiosity, and then that's it. So people rarely ask, okay, what happened in exact detail, what really happened, and to find the causes, what causes that to happen. Even when we involve in a car accident or anything, we might say that dah nak jadi dah, macam mana, nasib lah, dah takdir, So as a student of safety, you have to start thinking about accident, why it happened, how it happened, because there are a lot of studies before this that really look into why accident happened. So there are a few, no, not a few, actually there's a lot of model that explains why accident happened. and and they have a proof, there is evidence that there's a series of things that happen before that that causes the accident to happen. So we will talk more about the accident causation model maybe in the weeks ahead lah. So I will talk about it in detail and maybe have some cases to study. But people have been looking at accident and studying accident since the 1930s. So, sejak tahun 1930-an lagi, orang dah mula mengkaji tentang bagaimana kemalangan ini berlaku dan apa yang menyebabkan kemalangan, dan adakah kita boleh buat sesuatu untuk elakkan kemalangan daripada berlaku. And most of this model ini does not predict accident. Dia bukannya model ataupun teori ini bukannya boleh, kata bahasa Melayu apa, predict, boleh predict lah, predict accident. Okay, if this happen, accident will happen. No, this model does not predict accident. Okay, the model here is just to highlights things that have happened before that contributed to the accident. And there is a chance or possibility that if you have the same symptom, then the accident might also happen to you. Okay, when you're talking about accident, it's all about likelihood, kebarangkalian, boleh ataupun tidak. So kita tak ada 100% sure, but we can see the signs. Kita boleh cari tanda-tandanya. So tanda-tandanya ditunjukkan dalam model ini. Thank you, Hui Fang. Bahasa Melayu ramal lah. Dia tidak boleh meramal. You cannot say, okay, according to Heinrich theory, Edward theory says that, whenever you have unsafe act, you always have accident. So you are doing unsafe act, I can say, I can ramal, I can predict that after 10 minutes you will get accident. Cannot be like that. It's not like that. You don't use the model like that. Okay, the model only gives us indication, tanda-tanda, yang mana daripada apa yang kita belajar for the past 100 years, that these are the things that happen within an organization that always lead to an accident. So itu penting. And we will talk more about accident model in the weeks ahead. Okay, there are other things inside there. This one is up for you to read. Okay, further reading, you don't go to the further reading. This one is for the advanced, maybe master level. You just stop at the accident model. We will talk about accident model in the weeks ahead.